Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at when we're given one trig function, how to find the other. So that's the goal for today, and also to use exact values to do so. So basically what you're going to need to do is create a diagram for these and complete the triangle, use Pythagoras, and then find either the x value, the y value, or the r value, and then work out what it's asking for. So in this question, for example, if cos theta is equal to 2/3 and theta is acute, find tan theta if tan is positive. So the first thing I'll be doing is be creating a little picture. Here's like a circle, and I know theta is acute, so I'm going to be drawing a triangle here like this, a right triangle. Theta would be in the middle, and I want to create 2/3, so adjacent over hypotenuse. So I've got 2 here and 3 here, and now in this situation here, cos is positive, so cos can be positive here and here. It could also be positive down here as well. Now I know that if I'm thinking about this situation, so if I'm thinking about this one here as well, then I've got a 3 here, and on the left hand side here, cos is not going to be positive, so I'm not going to really worry about this section. So I'm looking at the right hand side here, and I want to calculate this distance here of y. Okay, so this y value here. So to do that, we just use Pythagoras. So y is equal to the square root of 3 squared minus 2 squared, which is going to be the square root of 5. Okay, once we've got that then allows us to calculate tan theta if tan is positive. Now tan is only positive in this top section here, so we don't really need to worry about this bottom section here. So to get tan theta, I know I need to do opposite over adjacent, which is the y value I just figured out, over the adjacent side. Okay, and that's pretty much all they want you to do in these questions, just to write out the value of the ratio. The next one is pretty much exactly the same. Okay, so I'll start you off and then I'll let you finish it. So in this one, again, we'll draw a picture. In your picture, you're going to think about making a triangle. They haven't told us whether cos theta is acute or not, but they have given us a domain, so that kind of helps. So if I'm drawing a picture here like this, and this is my right angle triangle, then I know that my adjacent is going to be 20, and my hypotenuse will be 31. However, I do know that it's not going to be in this quadrant, because the issue is it says it's negative here. So if I'm thinking about where is cos negative, cos is going to be negative in quadrant 2. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be drawing my triangle like this, and I know that my adjacent side is 31. Sorry, my adjacent side is 20. My hypotenuse is 31, and I know this is negative. Okay, although it's a distance, so I can't really think of it as that. But my little angle's in here, and I'm only going to there because that's where 180 is. So it's 0, 90, 180. Okay, that's my domain. So I am going to need to figure out my value here. So again, in this question, I'm figuring out this y value here. Okay, and again, you're going to use Pythagoras to do it, except you'd use positive 20. So y is going to be equal to the square root of 31 squared. This time, though, we are subtracting because we've been given the hypotenuse. And you go and calculate what y is, and then you'd figure out sine, still given this domain. Okay, so you have a go at finishing that one. Question 3 is a little bit different. It just tells you that theta is reflex, so when you're working out your final angle, that's what you're going to be thinking about. But again, if we're thinking about the picture, then we have our circle. Tan is negative this time, so it's going to be in quadrants 2 and 4. So if you're then thinking of making a triangle, you're doing this one here, and you're doing, you know, this one over here. It doesn't really matter where you draw your triangle, but you do need, like when you're initially figuring out the values, but you do need to know that obviously it's going to end up being reflex, the final answer. So continuing on then, if I know it's 1 over 3, then my opposite would be 1, and my adjacent would be 3. And this one's negative. Okay, so this time I need to actually figure out the radius. So r is going to equal to the square root of 3 squared plus 1 squared. Okay, so that's going to give you square root 10. That's my radius. And then if you want to figure out cos theta and you want it to be reflex, you're then thinking about the adjacent side over the hypotenuse side. Okay, so 3 on root 10. But you've got to figure out, is that reflex? And what would you need to do to make it reflex? So I'm going to leave that part up to you. We're now going to do a couple of examples from the text. Not all of them, just a few. So we're going to begin with question 6a here. And in this one, they're telling us that 10 alpha is equal to a third. So again, if you want to visualize it, here's a picture. And in my picture, I'm thinking, okay, 10 is positive. So it's going to be in the first quadrant, and it's going to be in the third quadrant. So I can come here, down here like this, and create a triangle here, and that's theta, and that's theta. And then I also want to go, opposite is 1, adjacent is 3. Similarly over here. Okay, that sort of thing. Now I want to think about what I need to calculate. In this question, it looks like that I need to calculate the radius again. Okay, so in this one, my radius is equal to, well, it's really equal to plus or minus 3 squared plus 1 squared. And when you work that out, you get root 10. So if I want to work out sine alpha now, I'm going to be doing opposite over hypotenuse, where the hypotenuse is root 10. So that's going to be 1 on root 10, but it can also be negative 1 on root 10 from the other side, okay, even though we can't have a negative length. This is what we're thinking about. It does say in this question as well that it has 2 possible answers, okay. So in this question, that's what you're going to be doing. So you have a go at some other ones in there. Question 5 is a little bit different because we're looking at the reciprocal trig function. So in this one, they're telling us to find cosec theta if cot theta is positive, but only in this domain. So again, we can draw a picture. When I draw a picture, I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to think about cot theta. So cot theta is positive in the first quadrant and the third quadrant. However, my domain is from negative 90 to positive 90. So what we're thinking about now is we want to think about where do we label things, okay? So in this, I've got 2 over root 3, so that tells me my adjacent is 2, so that's here and here, and my opposite is root 3, so that's here and here. So in this question, again, I'm looking to find the radius. So my radius is going to be equal to the square root of 2 squared plus root 3 squared. So that is going to give me the square root of 4 plus 3, which is 7. So that's my radius. So that helps me out when I'm thinking about it. Now, if I want to get some values for cos between minus 90 and 90, then you know, what I'm really thinking about is cosec theta. Okay, so because I don't want to work out a value for cos, I want to work out a value for cosec theta. So to do that, I am going to be thinking about sine. Okay, so I'm going to think about sine, which is opposite on hypotenuse, but instead of doing opposite on hypotenuse, I'm going to do hypotenuse on opposite. Okay, so in this case now, what I'm thinking about is going back to my picture and going, that is root 7 on root 3. And that is what the value of cosec theta is. However, the question asks me to find cosec theta between this domain here. So if I'm going from 0 to 90, this is the solution for cosec theta. If I'm going from 0 to negative 90, then I need to think if something's going to exist there. Now the problem is, if I go into this fourth quadrant, tan becomes negative. So in actual fact, this is my final solution here. Okay, I hope that's helped you. Have a little go at some of the questions. Remember, what we've learned about in this section is we've learned to start with the diagram that you're given. Actually, start by creating a diagram. So the first step is to always create a diagram based on information in the question. Using that diagram, depending on what is asked for, calculate the missing value, x, y, or the radius. Then write down the ratio of the desired trigonometric function. Okay, keeping in mind the domain. All right, thanks everyone. See you next term. Work hard and have a go also at the textbook chapter. Thanks, bye.